JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 27th of May 2022. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channels, which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which I believe you can find useful, especially if you click on here and start learning and then market news and analysis, and yeah, it will take you to this page, which is updated on a daily basis. So yeah, check it out. Now then, jumping into the charts, guys, the first one I'm going to pick up here is Nikkei 225, and this is where I said yesterday that in order to go for lower levels, although we had that decline, in order to go for lower levels, I needed to see it drop below that 26,438 territory, somewhere around here, and we didn't get that because we had a nice rebound here from this upside line, we pushed back above this upside line, and kind of, yeah, as I said, to keep your eyes on the European and the US sessions, which kind of rallied a little bit, I would say, especially the US one, if I can say it this way. So yeah, good performance here from Nikkei, pushed higher, and let's see how it ended the week. Well, it still ended the week in slightly negative territory, I would say, but nevertheless, it was able to remain above this upside line taken from the low of the 12th of May. So in other words, there is still hope. Of course, there is still hope for the bulls to step in. But now I would still prefer to wait for a push above this barrier. Let me just quickly highlight it. This one right here. In order to go, like I said, yeah, for higher levels, I would like to see a push above this barrier, this 27,072 territory, and then, yeah, potentially more buyers could join that. For the downside, yeah, if we break this upside line, that's great, but still, maybe a drop somewhere below this area, but to be honest, I think we can relook at this, because I think we can keep an eye on the low of this week, which is around the 26,578 territory. So that means that, in a way, if we break this upside line and we drop below the low of this week, then yeah, we could go for some downside. But at the moment, we are stuck here, so let's see how this is going to play out, because at the moment, I mean, it seems that it could be forming a possible ascending triangle as well. So according to all the TA rules, these tend to break to the upside. However, we need that confirmation break through the upper side of that formation. So yeah, long story short, as I said before, these are the levels that I'm keeping an eye on. Shanghai Composite, very quickly on that one. Now this one is, yeah, it's I keep forgetting this idea here, so let me just quickly double check with myself here. Yeah, okay, so this is going to be quite interesting to see if this is not going to end up being somewhat of a the bearish 3 pattern. I think just that's I always get confused with the bearish 3 line strike and yeah, so the bearish 3. So when you have something similar to this, so for example, if this candle today, let's say, ends up in positive territory, then we have our nice decline here. We had it strong candle to the downside on the 24th of May, but then the subsequent like 3 candles are still within the body of this bigger candle, and then basically that means that we could see, you know, a decline going onto the 4th candle here. So the 3 candles here could remain something like this. They could still, you know, be in positive territory, basically showing, yeah, they will close in positive territories, but if the bodies still remain within the big one here, then yeah, the next step here could be to the downside. So that's the bearish 3 method. There we go. Yeah, that's the bearish 3 method. So let's see if that's going to be the case or not, because if we're just going to break, for example, break through this 3,160 territory, then we can ignore that idea, this pattern, and yeah, we could then maybe you know, go for some higher levels here and so on and so on. But let's say, like I said, it's quite an interesting we are quite at an interesting point right now. So we can see that this area is kind of still providing resistance. So yeah, let's see if this is not gonna let's see which pattern is gonna draw here. But again, if you're a little bit on the careful side, for example, if you're not comfortable with that, then you can just wait for, if you're looking for some downside, then you can just wait for a drop below the 3,070 territory, somewhere around here. A nice good drop below it would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, potentially more sellers could join in. Now the German index DAX, yeah, so good push higher yesterday. Great, we've climbed to this highlighted area. I talked about it, and yeah, we are currently, I would say, you know, sitting just inside this highlighted territory. I'm talking about the cash index. We're sitting inside this highlighted area, so all good. We could see, you know, a further move north here, especially if we climb above that 14,315 level right here, marked by the high of the 5th of May, or in other words, the current highest point of May. Now, I'm very interested to see if we can actually create a new high for this May, but let's go slowly on this. For now, we'll say that yeah, if we push through this 14,315 level, then that's where, you know, more buyers could join in. For the downside, now I would like to see this one dropping maybe again back below that psychological 14,000 mark, and then considering, you know, we could consider a bit of a larger correction to the downside. Now jumping into Nasdaq, Nasdaq 100, and yeah, good push higher yesterday. Great performance in the U.S. yesterday. So the best performer was Nasdaq, and we can see here we pushed through this 12,066 territory. I spoke about that level. I said that if we clear that, then my next target will be somewhere closer to this downside line. And excuse me. Excuse me, I had to clear up my throat a little bit. Coming back to the coming back to this Nasdaq here. So 12,066 territory. This is what I was keeping an eye on, because well, I said that if we clear that, then yeah, I'll aim for areas somewhere closer to the to this downside line, or this 21-day EMA, and then yeah, we'll just take it from there. Of course, if we break this downside line, that's even better for the bulls, for more bulls, because at the same time we would be placed above the 21-day EMA, and yeah, but let's not rush into anything at the moment. I would say yes, it's all quite interesting, but the cash index is currently sitting at around 12,250 40 territory, so just slightly below yesterday's close, but still, you know, close enough to kind of go and test this this downside line. So let's see how today is going to play out. But if we somehow manage to break and stay above this downside line and above that 21-day EMA, now that's where, you know, it could become quite interesting, and for a few more buyers, and well, maybe this could lead to a change in, you know, in the short-term direction here, a change in directional, you know, directional trend. Anyway, you know what I mean. Basically, this is where, you know, potentially more buyers could join in. So, however, at the moment, like I said, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this. It's quite interesting. My next target is this downside line together with 21-day EMA. Only if we continue to trade above that 12,066 territory. If we start falling back below it, well, this is where I'll start being very careful and cautious, and because this could lead to a bit of a correction here to the downside towards this upside line taken from the low of the 20th of May. Dow Jones Industrial Average, look at this one, flying higher, and yeah, once it broke this downside line, this opened kind of the gates towards the upside. I talked about this and I said that if we push through that 31,928 territory, then yeah, this is where more buyers could join in. We could go for that 32,308 territory, and then maybe for the high of the 17th of May near the 32,689, and we've managed to reach that. We also managed to overshoot that level. Can we go further north? Well, we're currently seeing a bit of a retracement, so that's quite normal. But if we can clear this barrier today again, then yep, my next target is the 33,055 level, and then so on and so on. I'll go slowly, gradually, you know, to the upside. But if it struggles, let's say with this hurdle today, with this 32,689, then, well, I mean, maybe we could see a bit of a corrective move here lower. And the dollar index, DXY, yeah, so everything's working out perfectly on this one. So in the beginning of this week, I said that we might see a bit of a correction here to the upside. It worked out. So yeah, we drifted lower initially. Then we, you know, stalled somewhere around here. We started correcting on Wednesday. I said that keep your eyes on this downside line or at this 102.35 level. If it holds, another decline could be possible. Well, everything's kind of, like I said, according to the plan right now, and we are drifting to the downside. My next target for now is this one, the 101 territory, approximately around here, not far from this upside line taken from the low of the 10th of February. So if we continue to slide, then yes, like I said, this is the area that I'm aiming for. Then, of course, it will be quite interesting to see if this upside line in general can hold again. If it can, maybe a nice rebound here could be possible. But if you're looking for some upside on this, guys, well, at this point where we are right now, from this point where we are right now, I would say I would still need to see a break of this downside line, together with a push through this 102.35 level right here at the moment. Again, and this is for now, because it might change later on depending on how this is going to trade. But yeah, for now everything is working out. Like I said, I'm aiming for that 101 territory right now. Let's see if we can reach that. Oh, by the way, I just remembered yesterday at the end of the video, when the video was already finished, I think one of the viewers named Kettlebell, yeah, wrote some nice words for me. So yeah, thank you very much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. So yeah, I don't know if, like I said, if that was captured or not, but yeah, thank you for that. Just wanted to mention that. Now jumping into gold. Gold managed to break the upside line here, but what I'm seeing here right now is, I would say, it's not really respecting this line, so it's now retracing a little bit back up, so I can say that we can get rid of this upside line. Not really. Kind of partially worked out, partially not. So, you know, that's why I will stick probably to some of these levels instead. So as you can see at the moment, the commodity is struggling with this area around that 1858 level, and we also have the 21-day and the 200-day EMAs around there. So yeah, so this is kind of a good target. What I'm watching here, if we climb above this, yep, that's where more buyers could join in. However, don't get me wrong, if this whole area continues to provide that strong resistance, well, another decline here could be possible. And yeah, this 1842 territory somewhere around here will be on our watch list, because you can see that yesterday, although we broke slightly below it, still we rebounded from this area. So I would say, the area that I'm looking at, not specifically the number, but the area. So if we drop below that 1842 area, then yeah, this is where potentially more sellers could join in, and we could go for lower levels. At the moment, given that DXY is on a bit of decline, to be honest, gold, I think it's gold buyers are enjoying this. So yeah, keep your eyes on that 1858 level. If we climb and stay above it, it could increase the chances. I'm not saying that this is going to be 100% that it's going to start flying higher here. No, but it could be that one step towards that idea, towards that kind of well, yeah, let's put it this way, that scenario. Because, for example, we had here as well, on the 24th of May, we also had a push above this, but then next day it kind of quickly drifted down. So I would say, like I said, yeah, if we do climb above this 1858 level, great, we'll start aiming for some higher levels, but then you will just have to be very careful with, some of the other targets, the current highest point of this week near the 1860 or 1870 territory, and then so on and so on. But at the moment, yeah, that's the area that I'm watching, this 1858 level. WTI oil, so beautiful move to the upside here. I talked about this and I said that, guys, yesterday when we were still flat here. I said, if you want to go for some higher levels, wait for a push above this 111.77 territory. If you want to go for some lower levels, wait for this drop somewhere below this 108.16 territory. Well, we got the up move here, we got that break, so great news. And look how well this level here, this 114.79, or roughly around that 115 zone, look how well it played out. And if you remember this area, for that I need to jump into a monthly chart, and this area is the highest point of 2011. So what's next? So again we're at the same spot, and we're at the same, not the highlighted territory here, but this one. I'm keeping this highlighted territory. This is like me from where I could become even more aggressive to the upside on this break of this 116.61 level, but at the moment I'm watching this one right here, and yeah, that's the one which is quite interesting, because like I said, that's the highest point of 2011. We got a nice hold up there. Can we go higher? Well, again, we need to see a good push through that barrier. If we can get, and if we can climb through it, then yep, my next target is the 116.61, and if that gets clear slowly, yeah, we'll start drifting further north. For the downside, now this is where I think I need to adjust a few things here. Let me just I'll probably, for the downside, stick to this area, this 111.77, which I previously looked at as a a resistance barrier. Now it could be support. If it gets cleared, then yep, we could aim for that 21-day EMA. Then I will slowly target the 108.16 and then the 105 zone right here, and then yeah, maybe this upside support line. But let's first get to that point. Let's see if we drop below the 111.77, then yeah, like I said, I'll consider maybe a bit of a decline. But at the moment, we are knocking on the door of this highest point of 2011. Let's see if we can clear it. Ethereum. Beautiful decline here. We dropped below that 1906 zone, so basically everything's looking quite bad here, because look at this. This is where we are right now. We've approached the area which is the lowest point of June of 2021, also not far from the lowest point of July of 2021, and we are also near the current lowest point of May. My question here is, will this move here lead to a new low for this May? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, because again, we need to see a clear drop below that 1700 territory. If we do drop below that and stay below it, yes, further declines are possible. This will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and this is where we'll start jumping into a monthly chart here. And my next target here will be, let me just grab a line. My next target will be this highest point of 2018, guys, near the 1595 territory. I do understand it's not far, but to be honest, I'll go slowly on this one. But like I said, that's the highest point of 2018. That's the first kind of rally that which we had, this first significant rally, this peak. So yeah, keep your eyes on that one. Again, I'm not saying that exactly specifically that level can be reached, but just the area around it. But at the moment, like I said, if we do drop below this 1700 territory and stay below it, then well, further declines are possible, guys. Jumping into a few pairs. So AUD USD, so beautiful rebound here. Yesterday I talked about this and I said that if we push through the 0.7127 territory, we'll get a little bit more comfortable with the upside. However, at the moment, yes, we are getting that push. But can we stay above it? Now that's my question, because somehow it seems that it's struggling right now. If we can stay above this barrier, then yes, great. We'll aim for the 100-day EMA, or maybe even this 0.7265 area. Okay, all fine. But at the moment, it's a bit of a battle here happening between the bulls and the bears. Who's gonna outpull the rope? At the moment, I would say the bulls, yeah, are winning. But can they keep up here, for the rest of the day? Well, like I said, we'll just have to wait and see. If we start drifting back down and stay below this 0.7127 territory, I'll take a bit of a neutral stand, to be honest. I will start observing. Maybe we could start, we could move a little bit to the downside again. Basically, what I don't want to see, but could happen, is that we could start oscillating around that 21-day EMA, and basically this way, kind of, and if it, for example, still stays above this 0.7035 territory right here, then we'll just get ourselves a nice range, which I don't know, I don't really like, but hey, the market doesn't always do what I like, but well, that's the game. So anyway, guys, long story short, for now, like I said, the 0.7127 territory, that's what I'm keeping an eye on, and if we stay above it, then I'll go for some higher levels. And also, of course, I'm going to keep an eye on DXY. USD JPY, so beautiful so far. Everything's, like I said, working according to the plan. We are still trading within the falling wedge pattern. I'm still gonna continue observing this, because although these patterns tend to break to the upside, still a break through the upper side is needed. So until we get that, it could still drift to the downside. So in the beginning of this week I talked about this, and I mentioned this, and it's kind of working out nicely. So let's see how this is gonna play out further. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because basically the same analysis is valid. Quick update on USD CAD. So we're drifting below this 1.2765 territory right now. So we broke below it. However, it's quite interesting to see if we can actually stay below it, because at the moment the bulls are trying to fight back. The bulls are trying to push this one all the way, back above this hurdle. Can they do that by the end of the day today? Well, let's wait and see. But I would say this way, at the moment I'm leaning towards the downside. That's pretty straightforward. At the moment I'm leaning towards the downside. The arrow that I have here is drawn all the way here towards this upside line. This is the ideal scenario, but say slowly we'll do this. Initially, if we continue to trade below this 1.2765 territory, my next target is the low of the, or actually, yeah, the current lowest point of May, near the 1.2713, and then we'll just go from there. For the upside, I still would like to see a push through this 1.2896 territory, somewhere around here, and then go to the upside. So yeah, pretty straightforward. GBP USD, so flirting with this barrier, that's I would say previous highest point of May, near the 1.2638. I said that if we push through it and stay above it, then I'll go for some slightly higher levels, or I would say as much as it will allow me up until this downside line. You can see right now we had a false breakout. We're now drifting back down. So can we kind of go further? Can we go back above this? Well, again, I would like to see that because I would like to see a test of this downside line. But if, let's say, if it's not happening, then it's not happening. Then basically you need to kind of keep an eye on potential, move to the downside. So this is where I'm readjusting my levels. Because just to be a little bit more realistic. So for the downside, I would say I would prefer to see a drop below the 1.2472 territory, somewhere around here, marked by the low of the 24th of May. This way, we could start aiming lower. We'll remove some of these lines, and then we could target. Where's that horizontal line? There we go. We could then target this little hurdle, which is quite interesting, this 1.2329 area, and then we'll just take it from there. So that's in case of the downside. In case of the upside, if we do pop above and stay above this 1.2638 zone, I'm aiming for this downside line, and then I want to see what's going to happen further. If it's going to break, great. If it doesn't, also great. We could go to the downside here, but I'll take it from there basically. GBP Aussie. So look at this. I mean, this keeps on annoying a lot of traders who are hoping to see that pop. And this is what I keep saying, guys. Wait for that pop. For the whole week, basically, I kept on saying that wait for that pop. We got a little pop here, as you can see. Got two little pops here, but we failed to stay above it. So it's always like quite important. Not only that a break, it needs to kind of continue, trading above that hurdle. If it's struggling, then I mean, this is what you get. This is this is where a lot of stop losses get triggered, and I hope. But to be honest, if it gets triggered, it's not a problem. The problem, I mean, as long as your stop loss is not a huge one. I mean. Sorry, if your stop loss is something that you can afford, this is probably the best way of saying it. So if you can afford that, then that's great. Don't put something which you cannot afford. So it's better to get out and then regroup and then enter again. So at the moment, what I'm saying here is that keeping an eye on that 21-day EMA. So far, I'm still kind of cautiously bullish, but I still need that confirmation break through that downside line. So at the moment, I'm watching that. For the downside, I would prefer to see a drop below this hurdle somewhere around here, and then we could go lower, this 1.7570 area. Euro JPY very quickly. Oh, I can see I'm running out of time a little bit. So, okay, this is first step towards something here. You can see we drifted lower yesterday, rebounded from this upside line and pushed higher. And now today we are kind of breaking this downside line. So, this is quite interesting. This is quite exciting. Let's see if we can actually stay above this downside line here. If we can, that's great. More buyers could join in, especially if this pair starts pushing through the 136.80 territory. That's the highest point of the current highest point of this week. If we can clear that, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high. We can then start aiming for this 138.32 level, and then so on towards the highest point of April. But again, and don't forget that we might see a false breakout as well. So it could push higher, but if let's say by the end of the day it just starts drifting back down, this is where a lot of frustration will start kicking in, and I mean, this pair could start drifting to the downside. So I'm still not excluding the possibility of this one reversing sharply to the downside, but again, I want to see how this is going to play out. For now, like I said, I'm kind of leaning a little bit towards the upside, but some confirmation breaks are still needed for me. And finally, EURUSD. So okay, so slowly, moving to the upside. Sorry, pushing above this 1.0748 level. Again, similar story. It's now kind of teasing us with this idea that it could go higher, but can it stay above this barrier? This is the previous highest point of this week. Can it stay above it? Well, at the moment, it's kind of, like I said, just sitting bang on in that area. But if it struggles to push through it further, then maybe a bit of a corrective move back down here towards this upside line again could be possible. So let's see how this is going to play out, and of course if this upside line gets broken, then certainly lower levels could be met. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful. I hope you'll have a fantastic weekend. Oh, of course, first of all, have a fantastic Friday. Be careful, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, don't overtrade. Have a wonderful weekend. Try to relax as much as possible and come back fresh. And on Monday, join me as always, Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, guys, like I said, have a wonderful time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.